Hey guys, it's Kim, aka the Spartan Stitcher on Instagram. I am back with a Flosstube Extra. We are going to look at my finishes that are not fully finished. So it's a finish parade for things. Oh look, there is a cat in here. Finish parade for things that I need to figure out a way how to get them where I can either get them up on the wall or, something that can be propped up or sewn into a pillow, flat fold, something like that. I'm standing up this time because I have all kinds of stuff over here. Both all my finishes and items that I have collected throughout the years, envisioning that, hey, I could mount something on this as a fully finished stitched piece. So we're going to go through everything, see what kind of inspiration hits. I have my measuring tape so we can try to see what's going on. Peridot was in here. I think she's hidden underneath the bed. We'll see if she makes an appearance later. Today is the 24th of May, so it is Memorial Day weekend. Thanks to all those who have served and lost their lives in support of our country. So I have a 3-day weekend. The girls have a 4-day weekend. I am still working away at Page Finish Mania, but I have been wanting to do this for months, but at the same time not wanting to take time away from stitching. So let's just get at it. I can't promise that I will remember all the details of everything. I know I won't. But if you have any questions, you can always ask me and I can try to find it for you. So, first off, I have a few small finishes. I got finishes in some of them I have in gallon-sized bags. Some of them I have in another way that I'll show you that worked well when I was moving. So first of all is a little piece. This I know is on 28 count Monaco. I know it's from a Just Cross Stitch autumn issue. I don't think it was a Halloween. I think it was an autumn issue quite a few years ago. So as you can see, this was a remnant. This is off-white cream Monaco piece that I had. This is actually the way that this is cut. I know this is the same piece of fabric that my Camelot sampler from Teresa Wentzler was stitched on, and you will see that today. So that just needs to be stitched, or I need a way to fully finish this into a little display for the fall. This is from a Just Cross Stitch Halloween issue. I know I stitched this up in 2019, or at least started it in 2019 during the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, the Hogwarts, when we were doing everything. I believe this is, I know this is Picture This Plus. It is linen, so I'm guessing it's small enough. It might be 32 count linen. Eek? I want to say, no, I think I have a piece of Eek over there that's darker. Ancient. I believe this is Ancient from Picture This Plus. Just a little piece I had left over. I'm just going to lay these things out. I'll show you some of the stitch pieces first, and then we'll go through all the items I can finish things on. Okay, not all the finishes I have are stitched by me. I have some other pieces from other stitchers. This next one is from my, I guess you could say, my ex-grandmother-in-law. My ex-husband's grandma on his mother's side. They did live in Michigan. They have since passed. So this is the Grand Traverse Lighthouse that she has stitched up on a piece of Aida. It is stained. I have not tried washing it yet. But, she did stitch a few things. This was done in 2003. So, cool little piece for some Michigan. I need to find a way to display this in my house. So, and then a couple other pieces that were not stitched by me. I've talked to you before about buying some stash, mostly threads, flosses from a 94-year-old stitcher. I'm using her floss for the Templar Prophecy, all those unlabeled colors. When I bought her stash, it came with a bunch of finished items and unfinished. things that were still whips, that we didn't have the patterns for or anything. And so I was living in Omaha, Nebraska at the time. I took what I wanted. I did finish one of them, which it was like, sorry, I paused that real quick because my door opened and I thought it was one of my girls wanting something, but it was Emerald. The door doesn't latch all the way sometimes unless I really push it, and so she just pushed it open, and so now both cats are here in the room, so you might hear them. We'll see if they make an appearance. Anyways, in Omaha, Nebraska is when I purchased this. She was 94 at the time, going into a nursing home or something, and the neighbor of her son was selling her stash, and so I bought the items. So I took what I wanted, and then I took the remnants to Reflections Framing and Stitching, which is the LNS in the surrounding area of Omaha, and I shared whatever was left with whoever, you know, went to that store. So 2 pieces that I kept. One of them, so I kept like 3 pieces. One I already finished. It's white, like geese dressed up all Christmassy with like wreaths around them, and I have made that into a long pillow that I put out around Christmas time. And then the other 2 pieces I really liked. This is your basic like 1980s, 1990s cross stitch, cows and pigs. I like them. They're on Ada. There are a few stains on the fabric, so I need to wash them and see if those stains come out. But I thought these were really cute, and I think I do have a piece. We'll see later. We'll do some measuring if these will fit together. It's just like a country piece. So those are cows and pigs. No idea where you could find those charts again. Oh, here comes Peridot, or Peritos, as we have nicknamed her. She's laying down. Okay. Finished from like a year ago. This is dumb why I haven't fully finished it. This is a Mill Hill kit with pumpkins. All I have to do is trim the excess around it, and I have felt, so I just, you know, need to spray some adhesive glue, put the felt on it, and have a piece of cording or ribbon or something to hang it. So this would be really easy to finish, but yet I haven't. My full coverage finish from 2023. Old Flannel Shirt by Carolyn Manning. Fabric is 28 count. I want to say cobblestone. So that one's been folded up and just waiting for something. These are 2 rose-breasted cockatoos that I changed the colors on a little bit. I think this is Fox You Are So Crafty, or Crafty Fox on Etsy, one of those. They have a couple different names. This was a kit. I got the leftover pattern and some leftover threads from, I forgot your name now, and I'm so sorry. She hasn't made videos in a while. I will link her below. I know I follow her on Instagram and everything. So that is a cute little piece. I made this in memory of one of the bird parrot people that I watch on YouTube, bird trainers. She had 2 of them. She still has 1, but one of them passed away. And so I made their coloring match her 2 birds. So come here. Oh, this is Peridot. They're now a year old. Look at how big she is. She's fat. So that's Peridot. Emerald. Oh. An emerald. She's got more tan to her face, if you can tell. More of a buff color. And she's actually larger than her sister. So that's Emerald. She's the sweet one. Peridot is the noisy one that wakes me up every day. So for those of you who have been asking to see them, Emerald and Peridot. Okay, this is Afternoon in Paris by Cottage, Country Cottage Needleworks. Stitched on 28 count Monaco. So this is all DMC. This is none of the specialty fibers. I might have something to fit this, so we'll see when I get to those items. So really fun piece to stitch that one. Again, another easy Mill Hill kit I should have finished by now. This is one of their Easter eggs that is all beads. The whole thing is beads. Let me get my face out of the way. So that was fun to do. I just went row by row, changing colors. So that was their Dragonfly egg. This one is called Boggart Snape. Got this off of Etsy. Again, I stitched this in 2019 during the School of Magical Stitches and Literature. Stitched on a piece of Ada. Looks like 18 count Ada. So he's cute and funny. And then to go along with it, this is stitched also on Ada that I dyed myself. This is a sorting hat pattern, also from Etsy somewhere. So that needs to be finished somehow. The sorting hat. These ones I actually had finishing fabrics picked out. Also stitched in 2019. This is from one of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween issues. Eek. I remember this is on 18 count Devosa. So it is not Ada. It's actually an even weave. Very kind of fiddly to work with. Not as fun just because it was a small piece, and so I had it on like stretcher bars instead of a Q-snap. But really fun. Came out really cute. I like it. Need to finish it. And then the pieces of, so I have some fabric stash from my grandmother who was a quilter. Let me turn one of these so you can see the right side of the fabric. So you could go like fall leaves, or quirky and fun. I'm leaning more towards the quirky and fun because it's Halloween and it's got the purple in there. So if I wanted to use that, either, you know, make it into a pillow or mount it on something with a border of that fabric around it is what I'm thinking. Let's see. This one is one of my own designs. I saw this on one of those like fan t-shirt stores, and I'm like, I want to stitch that. So I chartered it. It is for sale, very cheap in my Etsy shop. Glendon Travel Company will take you places. This is after Outlander. I used a DMC variegated for the grass and Gentle Arts. There was a Gentle Arts for the stone. One that I had extra of. But again, I believe in the Etsy listing and in the pattern, it'll tell you what colors I used if you wanted to duplicate that. Very simple pattern there. This is Paris. I believe this is Stitch Rovia. On another piece of Monaco that I dyed myself using, I think it's just a gray. And then depending on how much you put in it determines how, light or dark it is. So that is a fun one. I have a lot of pieces I haven't done anything with. This is called Satisfaction. I cannot count my day complete until needle, thread, and fabric meet. Again, started this in 2019 with School of Magical Stitches and Literature. I know this is, I believe it's 32 count Even Weave in Mercedes by Picture This Plus. Blackwork Journey, that's the designer. Blackwork Journey. So a little something again I stitched to match one of their assignments. And then let me get the pieces that are back here. Recent finish from last year. The Quaker Sal from Modern Folk Embroidery. Stitched on 28 count Monaco that I Rit dyed myself using ecru floss. This is 1/1. And again, I didn't use the charted bottom border. I just flipped the top border so that they would be symmetrical. So still haven't done anything with that. My big finish from last year. Friends Forever by Ann Stokes. There you go, that's the whole thing. Charted by HAED, it is retired now. 1/1 on 25 count. This was just regular Lugana, it was never gridded. So this was my focus on a finish, and I got that done last year. I have not included it with the rest of my big items, so it has currently just been sitting on 2 hangers, clipped along the long side and just hung next to each other. So it, you know, it's just been hanging out because I have extra. I have a lot of closet space in this house. And then this one, Camelot Sampler by Teresa Wentzler. 28 count cream Monaco. There's 1/1 and 2/1 and specialty stitches. So let's see. I believe this was a 2019 finish. So there's the jousting scene. That's all 1/1. There are some beads in the border. I think that's called straight sided stitch with the pearl floss. And then I forgot what those are called. Then you have Guinevere and Arthur and the sword block. The least favorite part, that twisted vine piece, that's all 1/1. Yep, 2019. So my initials, the castle medallion. So the reason this piece hasn't been fully finished yet is because on the leaflet that the chart came in, they had a picture of it and it was on a 5-sided frame. So the frame went exactly and matched the sides of this. I would really like to do that same thing. So I need to find somewhere where I can get that shape frame. And the one reason I'm doing this video is because for my birthday in March, my parents gave me some money to fully frame some items. So I'm thinking, you know, buying those custom frames by like either Art to Frames, there's Frame It Easy, there's a bunch of different places where you can mail order custom frames and then frame it yourself. I want to ask, like I was on the website for Art to Frames this morning, and they do have different shapes, one of which is actually, like, besides rectangle, square, they have oval, they have oblong, they actually have a cathedral, which is like a cathedral window where it's flat bottom and then an arch like this. So I feel like I want to chat with them, which they do have a live chat on weekdays, but not weekends, and see if it's possible. If I give them the measurements, can they make me a 5-sided frame for this? Because I'd really like to hang this up. This was a lot of work. This is one of, let's see, 1, 2, 3 Teresa Wentzlers that I've done. So that is Camelot Sampler. Now, for all the other finishes, a little bit of explanation. So because I was in the Air Force, we moved a lot, had to find a good way to move the, finish cross stitch and my whips, my big full coverage pieces, and store them. And so the one idea that I liked, I heard about in like 2017, 28, probably 2017, was during the holidays, get one of those hard-sided wrapping paper storage containers, which I actually have in this closet behind me. And that way, the big, like 36-inch scroll frames I have, the Omnic quantum frames, they'll fit in it. What I'm about to show you fits in it. The only thing that doesn't fit in it is my handmade QVC or PVC frame for museum shelf, because that one's 4 feet tall. But what I did while I was moving, and also 2017, I was like, you know, start all the full coverage. That's when I started 10 full coverage pieces. And I also, this was before we really knew about, easy count was not a thing yet. And there was a way you could buy, let me do this way, a bolt of Charles Craft Monaco. So back then I bought a 10-yard bolt of Charles Craft Monaco. I have since used a lot of it. I think I only have about 5 yards left. So I have dyed a lot of it, but this also fits in that wrapping paper storage. And what I've done with all my large pieces is I unrolled the fabric, laid my large pieces on it, and then rolled the bolt back up. So that way, yes, it would have, like, you can see some shadows. That's because there's designs in there. Some support. You know, they're not going to get super wrinkly. They might get a little bit wrinkly just from being rolled up in this. But I would know exactly where they're at. And so that's how I have kept them. See? So let me just unwind this, and we can take a look at the big pieces. It's going to take some work here. All right. This first piece was a finish in 2021. Yay, look at that. This is called A Summer Ball by Cross Stitch Arts, which is a mother-daughter team, Deborah Lester and Sandy Littlejohns. Sandy's the mom. So let me just scroll. This is, again, 28 count Monaco. I did 28 because there are fractionals in this and some backstitch. I can't see what you're saying, so hopefully you can see it. So, and I'll show you the back too. Back ended up pretty neat. So, this is stitched with Anchor Floss. They chart all their designs in Anchor. They do have a DMC conversion. The other one I've stitched from them is a Victorian Christmas. That one is framed and hangs up year-round in my house. That one I stitched in DMC. This one I wanted to see what Anchor was like. So I stitched the whole thing in Anchor. So I would really like to get this framed. I know nothing I have is going to fit this one, so I definitely will have to take measurements from this and buy a frame. So this is going to be tricky here. We're going to put them while still being able to reach everything else. Okay. Witchy Tea Time. This, again, is from a Just Cross Stitch. I think this is Primitive Hare. I did make some changes to this one because there were some things that didn't make sense. Like there was no back to her chair in the middle. There was just like the uprights. So I just put some backstitch in there. I don't think there was chair legs, so I put those in there. I used some of my grandmother's floss for the orange, the variegated orange, and the green. I think I did run out, so I've used a DMC variegated to fill in the rest and other spots. I want this fabric is 32 count linen in cauldron. I know it's color and cotton. I think it's cauldron. And I do have a bunch left over, so I need to cut it. But that is a fun piece. I changed something. I think Witchy Tea Time was not all in black on the original pattern, and I made it all in black. So all right. This is QS Wizard 4. I forgot who the artist is. It is a HAED. I don't know if it's still available. It's all blacks and grays and whites. So limited color palette, 25 count Lugana. So I stitched this in memory of my brindle greyhound that I lost. His name was Coda. So that is Wizard. And then this is Beauty and the Beast 2017 by Tilton Crass, artwork by Daniel Kordick. I started this in 2017 because this was the first movie that my oldest and I went and saw, the first one that she got to see in the theater. Plus, I always really loved Beauty and the Beast, so I stitched this one up. Was this a 2019 finish as well? I know I finished 3 big things in 2019, so I think it was Camelot sampler, this one, and I think it was my Guardian Angel. This might have been 2020. I don't remember. Again, 25 count, 2/1 Continental 10 stitch. This was gridded, so this was easy count. So you cannot see any more grid on that. It is a little wrinkly from being rolled up, but what was the name of this one? God, why can't I remember the name of him? Oh Baby, that's what it was. His name is Oh Baby by Gail Gash Taylor. This was charted by HAED. It has since been retired. I did crop it. It extended a whole lot more on this left side, but it was just that green background with the pipe fence. And so I cropped it. Finished this one about 5 years ago. So 2020. This was not gridded. So this is just regular 25 count Lugana. Give you a close up of the stitching. Really looks like a photograph. You can see his little eyelashes. No, man. Not on the stitching. So that is Oh Baby. I know it was 5 years ago because I have a picture of me holding this up, almost finished, with my friend's 9-month-old colt. So maybe it might have been 2020. No, it wasn't 2021. Actually, it might have been. No, 2020. 2020. All right. This is Witches by Oberlin Sampler, also known as Waldock Designs. This is from a hand-drawn chart. On a piece of linen from Picture This Plus. This is Eek. This one is Eek. So really fun there. We'll have to see out of these 2 longer pieces which one will fit the finished piece that I have over here. So that's Witches. I have also stitched their Michigan one, and I have their Washington, D.C. pattern. So they have a lot of different cities states, different tourist places. So this one is R2D2 silhouette. Chart from Etsy. I'd have to look as to who the designer was. This was the very first piece that I stitched on Easy Count fabric. I know it's not full coverage, but I wanted to make sure that the lines came out. You can see there's no lines on there any longer. And I was also trying out tent stitch. So this is done in tent stitch. The only time it doesn't make sense because it's tent stitch is the spaceship right there. You can see it doesn't, because of the diagonals my tent stitch was going, it looks like that lower wing doesn't exactly make sense. But this is when I was trying out, hey, do I like the 25 count? Do the lines come out? And do I like tent stitch? So that is R2D2 silhouette. All right. Red, white, and bloom. I'm not sure if this is Little House Needleworks or Country Cottage Needleworks. There's one or the other. Stitched in DMC, not their specialty floss. Again, on fabric that I dyed. So, red, white, and bloom. Okay, this is Haunted Mansion Stretched Portraits. Stitched on 28 count Monaco that I dyed myself. I think I finished this one again in 2019 during the School of Magical Stitches and Literature. Who's the chart by? I know this one. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. So if you're curious, let me know. I will find out for you. It's probably in my phone, but I'm recording on that, so I can't tell you. So that is a fun one. This was a Sal. Why can't I think of the designer? All she does is black work. This again was 2019. I chose my own colors. I chose my own verse. I made it into a Halloween piece, but it was a Sal in 2019. This is using fabric that came in a box. Was it Color and Cotton box? I believe so. Color and Cotton subscription box. I put in double toil and trouble, fire burn, and cauldron bubble. I don't remember what was charted there in the first place, but it was like I think it was a weekly Sal. There's probably 52 of those blocks. And I just tried to randomize the Halloween colors. These are using my grandmother's flosses that were unmarked. So I don't know, like she made her own floss bobbins. And so I just chose some Halloween colors and tried to randomize what color I used where. So 2 purples, 2 orange, like 2 purples, 2 oranges, 2 browns, 2 greens, that kind of thing. And then I just randomized them. So that was a fun piece. This next one was, I believe you can still get it, but at the time it was a limited edition kit by Glendon Place. Stand for your flag, stand for your country, stand for your freedom. I did not buy the kit. My friend Debbie bought the kit. She completed the pattern and then sent it to me so that I could stitch it. I went to, I think it was Reflections in Omaha, and I chose a hand-dyed red and blue to do the eagle in. And then instead of, the original kit came with buttons, I believe. So I just did some, excuse me, there's shenanigans going on. I did some 1/1 stars because I didn't have the buttons from the kit. And then just chose some other blues to go with it. So cool patriotic piece on that one. This is not, I forgot what fabric this is. It feels like a Oberlin 28 count. I don't know the name of the color. This one I completely forgot the name of it, but I know I do have it if you want it. This is stitched on Fiddler's Ada. Another fun, I believe that this was from a magazine. I remember that now. From a magazine, a fun Parisian piece in this called for DMC colors. So that was cool. I gotta finish this next one. I want this on my wall. The Catalog of Witches Familiars by Ingleside Imaginarium. Brittany? I'm sorry. I'm totally... Blimey Cat was her old Instagram name. So she is an amazing designer. This was a really fun stitch along, and she had amazing background and stories along with each familiar. It was a lot of fun to stitch this up. It was the called for color fabric. This is Picture This Plus. This is an even weave. I don't remember the name of it. So everything called for. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I must have it up on my wall. So, and then the last one is another of my designs on a really stiff piece of Fiddler's Ada. You won't understand this one unless you have read the Dragon Riders of Pern series by Anne McCaffrey. These are the name of all the dragon wires in the order in which they were founded, in the colors of the dragons. So this is like a play on, you know, like fandom things, like if you saw someone with a Harry Potter shirt that just said Sorcerer's Stone, or no, Stone Chamber, you know, Prisoner, that, like, just shortening the title, everything, kind of in that aspect. So I just stitched this up. This is also on my Etsy shop if you are so inclined. So those are all my finishes that have not been fully finished. Everything else that I've stitched has been fully finished. I'm looking at some of them on the other side of the room. So let's go over some of the weird things that I have picked up over the years, thinking, oh, that'd be great to finish something on. I believe this is either Hobby Lobby or Joann's, with the exception of Michigan not being quite right. Like, they kind of have the hand shape there, but, you know, if you're not looking at the hanging piece, the UP's not right, but, you know, it's hard to get Michigan correct. So that is the United States. In fact, I need to put like a patriotic piece. The stand Glendon place will not fit on here. I know that. Red, white, and bloom, it needs more vertical instead of horizontal. So I don't have a piece for this one yet. So this is it's a serving tray from the spring collection at Hobby Lobby. It is metal, so anything that I could you know, mount on either foam core board, whether it has a pretty fabric border on the outside or not, and then use magnets, I could stick it to this, so, and then hang that up somewhere. So that's a possible finishing piece. One time I had a coupon, so I just bought a mini little frame from Hobby Lobby, 2.5 by 3.5. Some of these odd sizes, they're hard to find, so I keep on the lookout for that. I picked these magnets up from Hobby Lobby a few years ago as well, thinking if I had something really small, I could mount it on like the sticky board, like something really thin, or just regular cardboard, and then mount it to this so you see the plaid on the outside without seeing the writing. But the magnet on the back is that like it's not strong. So I don't know if these are ever gonna, because I don't think if I mounted stitch work to this, the magnet would be strong enough to hold it up. But these were cheap, so I still have them in case inspiration strikes. Way back when, you used to buy acrylic pieces to make into coasters. I have lost the cardboard round, but I mean, it's cardboard. I can find another cardboard round, or just use sticky board and use the sticky side to affix it, and then put a piece of, you know, thin cork or some of the like felt pads. So another option, something small. Another piece from Hobby Lobby, a mini cutting board. You could either mount something this way or this way. So let me see any of the small items here. I hope you're stitching along as I'm doing this. Searching for the, let's see. These are too big. They don't fit. This would fit. Let me just fold it over real quick. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this kind of thing. See? That would fit on there. Wouldn't that be cute? And then I could just prop it up somewhere or have something to hang it from as a little fall. I like that idea. Thanks for your help. And let's see what else. This was, I believe this was Joann's. Quite a few years ago. This one, I bought this in North Dakota. Just a pressed wood thing where you could mount something to it, whether you wanted to completely cover the white or use the white as an accent around the stitch piece. Let's see, red, white, and bloom, right? That's the right orientation. All my stuff is getting... Where did I put red, white, and bloom? Oh, that's too... Red, white, and bloom is too small for that. Let's go with... Where's R2-D2? He's the right orientation. The black work... This is too long. R2. R2 is too small as well. Look, you can see, so my hands are at the top and the bottom. So R2 is too small. Or rather, that's too big for R2. I know the hanger's at the top, right? But work with me here. What do you think? If I... Okay, so there's enough room there where I could finish this on a piece of cardboard, sticky board, foam core, you know, name your pick. I could have some excess around it, and then this would be something hard to mount it to. The hanger on the back is just screwed on, so I can take that off easily. Oh my god, they are knocking things over in the bathroom. So that's a possibility to fully finish witches. So we've got two so far. This was Joanne's snowflake. I do have a larger wooden snowflake that I mounted a piece to. So again, same thing. You put foam core, whatever, mount it to this, and then tie something around this so you could hang the snowflake. I don't have any winter pieces that need finishing, so but that's for the future. Pumpkin. This is from Hobby Lobby several years ago. It does have a hanger. If I took off the raffia, then you'd see where the metal leaf is mounted, but I could trim it shorter so it's not as extended. I don't think this gives the right feel for witches. What do you think? Pumpkin? Let's see how... We're here. We might as well look at it, right? What do you think? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling that one. And so the blackwork piece is the wrong orientation. Ooh, let's look at, what do you think? Witchy tea time? Let's put this back on that one. Witchy tea time. And if you're thinking of matching up something that I've completely not thought of, please leave me a comment. This is audience participation. I don't think this is going to work. All right, this linen is very finicky. Oh, no, it's too big. It's too big for the pumpkin. So that doesn't work. Wrong orientation for the witch's familiars. So we hold on to the pumpkin for another day. Okay, when I see odd size artist canvases, I pick these up. So a few months ago, once we knew, not even months, over a month ago, and once we knew Joann's was closing, I picked up a couple odd ones. This one is 8 by 8 inches. So let's look at I have a visitor. That's where'd it go? That one's gonna be too... I'm thinking about the Stitch Rovia. Hey, that might work. So, here's my problem. The design fits. The design fits on it. But I don't have enough fabric to wrap around and staple it to the frame. Now could I could put a piece of like fun like cotton print fabric over this and mount this to foam core board or you know, sticky board, and then mount that to this. I'll have to take some measurements. You're like, there's not enough room. There's 1/4 of an inch on either side right here. So that option doesn't work. It's a good try though, good try. I have a 10 by 10. Where is, let me hang this up so it's out of the way. Are you bored? Or are you just stitching along? 10 by 10. Where's the other? There it is. The other Parisian piece. Ooh, guys, look at that. Let me hold this up for you. We have a wiener. I know it's not perfectly straight on there, but look, I have just enough. I can get it on there straight and have a little bit of border, and there's plenty of fabric to staple it to the back. Winner, winner. That's 3. We got 3 matched up. I have 4 of this size. This is 9 by 12. 9 by 12. Witchy Tea Time doesn't fit. Witch's Familiars doesn't fit. Stand by Your Flag. Also too big. Haunted Mansion doesn't fit. Let's see. What else do we have over here? R2's too small. The black work is too long. Red, White, and Bloom is way too small. This one, it's an option. So my Weyrs of Pern could, but I think it would go better in an 8 by 10 frame. I have enough room. That would fit in an 8 by 10. I do have some 8 by 10s. I just didn't bring them out. So potentially a 4th there. I'll put this one aside. Okay. Here's a weird one. 10 by 20. So we've got a few that are long, right? Witch's Familiar is way too long. This is too long for it. What I need, you're in a tote that has some of my finishes in it, one of which is the autumn gnomes from Soda Stitch that I did end of last year. And if you remember, that piece of artist canvas was this shape as well, long, but it wasn't as big. But I think it's, so this one obviously does not fit that. I'm wondering if it would fit. I'm eyeballing it right now. I think that one, the length would work, but the stand is too tall for it. So we'll have to keep looking for that one. What else do I have? This is from a thrift shop. I have used trays before. Another Ingleside Imaginarium Sal, the Guardians of Notre Dame. That one I have on a silver plate, like serving plate. So I bought this tray. Nothing special about it. It was like $1, right? But I could finish something on there. Doesn't exactly give you Halloween vibes. Let's see, that's too... Witch's Familiars is too big. stand for your country's too big. I mean, this fits. It just doesn't vibrate. Let me show you. Fold this over so you can get an idea. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. It just, a tray is not the right thing for this piece. Let's see. Does anybody else do this? Go through their stash like this? Nothing else is going to work. All right. Nothing for the tray. This is Joann's. It's got hooks for like hold keys, or you know, you can. This is a chalkboard finish, so I'm guessing the little shelf here is you could hold a piece of chalk. It is metal, so magnets would stick to it. And if you finish it tight enough, you won't see the wording. What is the right orientation that's left? It's got to be vertical. Which is familiar is too big. Well, this one kind of fits. So height-wise, this fits, but not width-wise. But I mean, I could mount it on something with, you know, fun fabric, but it's got to have the right colors in it. Because like this quirky one that I showed you earlier, let me just do this. Like that doesn't go together. I think the quirky fabric would take away from the design. It would pull your eye. But I could have a different kind of Halloween fabric, so that doesn't mean it can't go on this. But again, it does fit. But then I'd have to have it on magnets so I could switch it out, because this is not one that I'd want to have up year round. So okay, I've got two wooden flags. This is one of them. Primitive flag. This was Hobby Lobby, and it does have a picture stand. Red, white, and bloom, and stand. Let's take a look at those ones. Where'd they go? It's amazing how there's so many different shades of red, white, and blue, or red, white, and blue, that this might not work just because the shades are different. What do you think? Does that work? The colors on the stitch piece are a lot brighter than the flag itself. What do you think? I got another one too. I'll show that one too. Let me pull out red, white, and bloom. Just kind of tuck the edges under. Yeah, I don't like this one. Because red, white, and bloom is so small. I don't think that goes together well. Again, I was just making sure this was too big for the United States wooden piece. See that one? Like, I could probably squeeze that. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so I'd like to stand on this flag as a possibility. Let's pull out the other flag. Is much bigger. It's much bigger. This was Hobby Lobby as well. Let's put a stand on this one. What do you think? Big flag or little flag? The colors on this one are a little bit brighter, this wooden flag. So big flag or little flag? I'll show you the little one again, just real quick. I think the proportions on this one are better. Big flag or little flag? You let me know. And then the only other piece I have left is this from Hobby Lobby. It is meant to hang vertically, just an unfinished wooden piece, right? It's got a little hanger that it screws in, so again, I could take that out. But I believe this would fit the cows and pigs this way. Where did I put my cows and pigs? Cows and pigs. Here they are. Dropping Mill Hill kits. Oh yeah, lots of room if I found a country fabric. Cows and pigs. If you imagine all those edges tucked under with country fabric behind them, with then this, you know, and I would leave it rough like this because it's country. So you'd see a little bit of the wood, you'd see this outer edge. Cows and pigs. What do you think? Yeah? I can't believe I have talked for over an hour just rabbiting, as Stuart would say. Just rabbiting. I hope you have enjoyed this. I think for pieces that I would need to buy a custom frame for, we are talking about this one, right? Witches Familiars. Love that. Gotta have that on the wall. Let's see. That one I don't have anything. That's not a rush. This one I think I'll find something eventually for that. I'll find something eventually for that one. My full coverage I'm gonna need, or I need to figure out how to sew like a wall hanging for my full coverage, right? And for Doggy, and for Friends Forever by Ann Stokes. I have to see if someone could give me a 5-sided frame. If you have any ideas, let me know, please. I need a custom frame for this one, I'm gonna guess. Because I think, where is the, yeah, I'm gonna need a custom frame for that one. Well, what do you think? It kind of fits on the tray. Yes or no? Does it go with the tray? That is the Four Seasons sampler. And yeah. And then a summer ball, the really long panoramic piece. I want to get that framed. That'll be a custom frame. So anyways, I have talked long enough. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Another idea I had for a Flosstube Extra was, let's go through not only pattern stash, but floss stash. So yes, I have master set of DMC. Yes, I have a master set of CXC. I'm talking odds and ends. So, you know, things I've gotten in subscription boxes. I bought a, this is probably not a good, not on its own. Maybe at the end of like a pattern stash. But like I have a packet of sulky threads that I completely forgot about. They're in fall colors. I have my grandmother's threads. I have whatever. I have a lot. American Thread Company. I have some weird stuff from that 94-year-old woman's stash, but I want to use it up. I enjoy using stuff up. So, okay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to clean this up and get to stitching and see what my girls are doing. The cats have finally calmed down. It is now almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's time for them to sleep the whole rest of the day, pretty much. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in a week for my May progress and see how many pages I got done in May. Bye, guys.